You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Center, this is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is Time goes in, time goes out. Never miscommunication.
It's over 9,000! My name is Foxy.
The balls are in there. Do a barrel roll. Don't face me, bro. It's a trap. I'm a firing believer. Time to Hey, Charlie, wake up. Oh, God, oh, man.
Hello everybody, it is Phoenix 92.5 FM. My name is Darragh O'Connor. Welcome back to Nerd to Know Basis, Nerd to Know Media. We are streaming live here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. The SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good stuff. It's been such a while since I've done it. And yeah, we're back, guys. So if you're
back.
Yeah, if you're listening to us on YouTube, on Twitch right now, you can leave messages in the chat. We are here to read them out. We have a lot to get through this week. As I said, my name is Darragh O'Connor. I'm not alone. We don't have the full gang with us, but it is my honor and privilege to be joined by the one, the only, Mr. Cian O'Callaghan. Cian, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Thrilled to be back on the internet talking live as opposed to our, as you can tell, very carefully scripted, pre-recorded things, which are totally scripted and well thought out and planned down to the exact commas, as you know, is our trademark style.
The exact moments. That's when we planned this out really, really well, as you can expect. But no, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you back, sir, to a live show, because it's been such a very long time since we've actually done it. I had a look because we've been streaming the Rewind on the channel for the past not last week, but the week before. We actually did 2 shows, and the last time that the channel was used was like May 2021. So,
oh my goodness,
it's been a very long time, and obviously a lot has happened. We're on show 138 now.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Well, almost. We're getting there.
The big 138 we've been hyping up for the past few episodes.
And I think the last show that we did together on the channel was like show 199. So there's been a lot. And what I will do, folks, if this is your first time,
oh my god, last week I've just realized we've missed the opportunity to get our Simpsons 137 episode spectacular gags in.
Oh man,
what a missed opportunity.
That's because Lisa isn't here and she would have reminded us. So that is on her. I'm going to blame her. She shouldn't have let us. But anyway, no, as I said, like it's cool to have everyone back in this live format and have it there, because it's been a while since we've been able to do it, as I said. Like, so what I'm going to do is, guys, if this is your first show, if you're checking us out here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, welcome. Thank you so much. I would encourage you to go over to nerdtoknowmedia.com and or even Nerd to Know Media on YouTube and subscribe, because that helps us out a lot. And also, we're going to have a lot more content dropping there. Shows that we missed because of basically technical issues. Literally, it wasn't a joke. We just weren't able to do it. So we're going to actually put those shows up on YouTube with new graphics for you guys to check out. And yeah, they're going to be there for posterity. They are up on our Spotify, iTunes, all that goes. Well, iTunes isn't a thing anymore. It's Apple Music, I was told the other day. So Apple Podcasts, which is a weird name.
Oh no.
So yeah.
So like, wait, are we on Apple Music?
We're on Apple Podcasts.
We're on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness, that's a whole app I have to figure out how to work.
Well, to be fair, I think it comes preloaded in Apple software. Any Apple product I have that is like updated to the regular stuff, it's just there. No iTunes though.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that was quite a huge amount of technical stuff. I have a lot of not up-to-date things to talk about, so I'm going to trust that I believe you have a film to cover, don't you, Dar?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to get through this week. We're going to talk about 2 cons that are coming up. Obviously, the big one being BCC. There's also a security-based one, which I only found out about today, which is pretty cool. We have some gaming news, some film news in general, and also, yes, a review of Studio 666, which is the Dave Grohl horror movie, which is very weird.
I've no idea who Dave Grohl is. Can you take us through this from scratch?
So Dave Grohl is lead singer of the Foo Fighters.
Okay. All right. I'm with you now.
And the movie is out. Well, it's weird. It had a limited release. So I heard about it a little while ago and I was just like, okay, that's a weird movie, a weird idea for a movie. And I was like, I have to see that when it comes out. And then I was just scrolling through my phone during the week and I'm like, oh, whoa, it's out now. I should probably go see it before it's done. So I had a very limited release. It's still in theaters now at the moment. I don't think it's going to be in theaters for very much longer. And it has a very limited showing. Like Cineworld is the only cinema that's showing it, and the Lighthouse in Dublin that I could find. So I went to go see it in Cineworld, and saw it on Wednesday. So obviously we record on Wednesday, so we're recording a little bit later this week, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll go see it. So I went to go see it. And so basically the premise is the Foo Fighters are, as you know, the Foo Fighters. They're a rock and roll band. And they're making their 10th album. And basically they're sick of the sound that they have. They want to do a new sound. So they go to Kerry King's studio. Kerry King is the guitarist of Slayer, the metal band Slayer. And he's in it, and he owns a studio that's built in like a haunted mansion. So like a haunted house, basically.
Can I stop you there? Is this a documentary or is this like a fictional?
No, apparently it's based on a story that Dave Grohl wrote.
Okay.
So it's not real. It's just, the Foo Fighters are real and there's real like figures from the rock and roll metal community in it, but it's not a real thing.
Okay.
So basically the story then goes is there's this band and they were like in the 90s. And the lead singer was into Satanism or something and killed his bandmates brutally because they wanted to like make this new album or whatever. And they end up possessing Dave Grohl to finish this song, the satanic book basically into this like 40-minute song. And it's about that, but it's a full-on slasher horror movie, and it's a lot of fun. It's very dumb. It's a very, very, very dumb movie. But
I was gonna say I'm getting like, I don't know, Kiss Saves Christmas vibes off this.
No, it's a bit more violent. It's a bit more violent than that. It's kind of like part of it's like the Scooby Doo. It's like an episode of Scooby Doo, but then with some Evil Dead violence.
Yeah,
in it.
Like when Korn turn up to South Park. That kind of vibe.
That's exactly what it's like. That is exactly what it's like. That's the kind of vibe it is. But to be fair, look, none of them are actors. Some of them are better than others. To be fair, like consider the fact that, like, again, none of them are actually actors. It's pretty fun. Like Dave Grohl is a likable guy in general, and you've seen him in the devil makeup before with Tenacious D and stuff like that. So it's not outside of his wheelhouse, but it's a very dumb movie, and these kind of movies always are very dumb, and this is probably the dumbest one. I had a good time. The screening I was in, it wasn't packed, but there was way more people there than I expected there to be. I'll be honest with you, I expected 4 people to be there. There were a lot of people, most of who looked like me, which is not surprising. And
well, I mean, I hate to make assumptions, but I imagine that the Foo Fighters Scooby-Doo mystery movie only in one cinema will attract a very specific audience.
It did, and I wasn't surprised by it. In fact, I was more surprised that there was, as I said, more than me there. But it was grand. Like as I said, it's a movie that didn't really need to be made. It's a movie that probably shouldn't have been made, but am I glad it was? Yeah, am I glad it was made? Yeah, like I had a good time watching it, but it was completely unnecessary and it was very silly. But then again, there's just some really good moments in it where, like, personally, that I really enjoyed, where Dave Grohl's trying to like write music, and he's like, the wells run dry. What do I do? And he's like, he meets up with the whole band, and the whole band are like, so Dave, show us some songs. And he's just playing riffs. And he's like, yeah, that's a great riff. And like, yeah, we wrote that song 20 years ago. It's a really good song. He's like, and it's just like really stupid things like that where it's really funny. And look, it's a dumb movie. It's a very, very dumb movie. It's a very silly, stupid movie. But
I know, but compare that to like the Katy Perry movie or like the One Direction, which I admittedly know were not fictional, but nevertheless tried to put them in the best light possible. This sounds like that just a wonderful, delightful gem. I'm surprised that it exists.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing about it is because like spoilers, they all die except for Dave Grohl, right? Not going to go further than that. But they all die in horrific ways. And if you're
going to be in a horror movie, you're kind of going to want to go in a horrific way. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, the kills are pretty good. Like, there's a really good, like, it's rated 18s and it's a hard 18s. So there isn't, like, everything that you'd expect to be in an 18s movie is in it. So obviously not one for kids. But, like,
again, Foo Fighters Save Christmas. I would recommend that if he's listening.
Exactly. But no, it's pretty good. And then the end of it obviously has a cool twist ending that makes you think, It does. It genuinely does, and then it's like written by Dave Grohl.
I know you can't spoil it, but I'm so curious as to what this could possibly be.
Well, I can spoil it if you want.
No. Look, if this is on in one cinema, we might as well encourage people to go and experience it. I just maybe tell me off the air because I'm so curious now.
Sure. Yeah,
I've got Birdemic vibes of what it could possibly be at the end.
No, it's made. It is competently made. It's a competently made film. It's a movie that makes in universe sense, and it is pretty good. But the ending is like one you don't really see coming because again, like Dave Grohl's such a nice guy, and then you're like, oh wow, okay, cool. But here's where it gets kind of weird. Here's the extra wrinkle, right?
Right.
So obviously Dave was the drummer of Nirvana, right? So that was his first big break, and then after Kurt's death, he was into Foo Fighters, right? But a couple of years ago, he did a compilation album with other vocalists and singers and stuff like that, like Max Cavalera from Sepultura, Lemmy from Motorhead, and such, right? Where he did loads of different genres of music. So randomly, Foo Fighters, and it's actually not the Foo Fighters, but people thought it was, they released a thrash metal album. Now, thrash metal is obviously not what the Foo Fighters sound like, right? And people were like, oh, terrible. Oh, how dare they? Blah, 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 blah. I don't think they got that that's not the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny that, like, they went through such an effort to make like a fake band's history and then release music as that fake band, but it's just the Foo Fighters. I appreciate that. I really enjoy
so kind of like
little...
the way like members of Blur have Gorillaz as like their kind of side project where they go do weird things.
Well, it's not
but
even
the original band's kind of its own thing.
It's more like Death Clock. I know. If Lisa was here, she'd know. Like, she's a big Death Clock fan. So it would be kind of like the Gorillaz at least are a real band that tour. Right, that's a side project. Death Clock aren't a real band. It was a TV show, but the band releases music, and I'm like, oh, that makes way more sense. Yeah, so I appreciate it. It's a movie that has layers. It's a very stupid movie. The song actually isn't very good, but I still appreciate it. I'm like, you know what, Dave, you could have just sat there and released the safe music, 10th album, and instead you went off and made a really weird horror movie. As someone who makes weird horror movies in videos. I appreciate that. that's what my band do. We make weird little horror movies, so I appreciate it. It's super fun, and I would say if you are a fan of, like slashers, there's stuff here for you. If you like referential music stuff, or if you're just a fan of the Foo Fighters, like you hang out with them for about 2 hours, so it is good.
Okay, I'm not even a Foo Fighters fan, and I want to see this. This sounds great.
Yeah, it is. It is delightful.
All right. Well, speaking of weird horror movies and things Lisa from Straight Outta Canto likes, have you seen The Lighthouse on Netflix yet?
No, I've not.
Oh my goodness. Okay, are you aware of what it is?
No.
Okay, this is like one of those like sleeper hits that came out last year technically, but its reputation has just been growing and growing and growing, and they've started making memes of it in the past 2 months, and that's really made it explode into the public's imagination. It's basically Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson are both lighthouse keepers on this island.
No, I have heard of this. I didn't realize it was on
It's been on Netflix for about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember when it was released, and I remember the Ruaha when it was released, but I didn't realize it was on Netflix. So no, please continue.
Yes, it's, to be honest, my description, even spoiler free, won't do it much justice. It's a black and white film, very stylish, very strange. And it's basically about Robert Pattinson's character. He's like a sort of the junior lighthouse technician. And it's literally just the two of them on the island for the whole film. And like Robert Pattinson's character, I'm getting the names now, is trying to figure out what Willem Dafoe is up to, because he never lets Pattinson into the actual top of the lighthouse. And there's like, it's got this very strange kind of tone to it where you can't tell if they're going insane or if magic is real in this film, because like there's lots and lots of seagulls, and if you bother the seagulls, they've got like the souls of old sailors in them. There's like a mermaid. It's not clear if she's real or not. And it's just one of the strangest and most hypnotic films I've ever seen. And I'm sorry that I had to discover it through memes, but I'm really thrilled that I saw it, because both of their performances in it are amazing. Like, we talked about Willem Dafoe kind of just cleaning up on that Spider-Man film that came out in December. What was it called? No Way Home, or Far From, which one? No Way Home?
Yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home. So this, between this and Pattinson getting Batman coming out this week, that this is like just like lightning in a bottle. These two like just doing this one perfect movie at the right time, and their chemistry is amazing. It's been a long time since I've seen a film so atmospheric. It's
well, that's it. You
Yeah,
know,
go on.
I have heard that. I heard it's extremely atmospheric.
It's, you know what, I'm surprised it's as popular as it is, because equally I saw The Green Knight, which was on my recommendations for our 2021 recommendations, and that was a weird one, filmed in Ireland. That was very atmospheric, and everyone kind of seemed to resist it because it was too kind of abstract and incomprehensible. But The Lighthouse has that in spades, and everyone's taken this one to heart. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the difference is, you know.
I haven't seen The Green Knight. I really want to. It's one that I keep meaning to watch it and then just don't. So that's on me. But I think it's mainly because like The Lighthouse is a bit more accessible. Like The Green Knight is. I to be honest with you, I blame the new Hellboy. I think that did a lot, because I watched that the other day again, and I don't hate it. I actually like it a great deal. But
You're talking about the one with the guy from Stranger Things.
yes.
Okay.
I totally understand why people don't like it. Like, it's no way near as good as the OG one with you know, made by Guillermo del Toro. So like,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, I do understand it, but The Green Knight just looks and feels a lot like that movie. Like initially, particularly with its marketing. Its marketing, I think. did a lot
Oh,
of
you're
damage
saying
to
the
it.
director of The Green Knight did the newer Hellboy?
I don't think he did, but it just
Okay.
it feels like it. Like
Okay.
when I first saw the marketing, I mean, like as a layman who doesn't know anything about The Green Knight, and just like as a cinema goer, personally, when I saw that, I'm like, that looks like the new Hellboy. You know, it really feels like it. And I think maybe a lack of identity is what kind of seeped off it. So
Well, it's funny you say that, because I mean, I know we're supposed to talk about The Lighthouse, but The Green Knight is specifically about the main character being the least famous knight of the round table. Like, his kind of inadequacy is a feature. So it's kind of funny that it's working against the film overall, you know?
Yeah, well, it's always going to, you know, like if there's no main protagonist, how are you going to like root for that protagonist? You know what I mean?
Well, no, there is a protagonist. Like, it's a very compelling main character.
Right.
It's just they've chosen to adapt the least famous Arthur story.
No, what I mean is
like if they wanted to launch the Marvel universe with, I don't know, Tigra or something like that. You know, it's a feature that it's a less known character. Like,
they did kind of with Iron Man.
Well, yeah, but Iron Man was still like an Avenger. I'm talking like a proper like F-list type Marvel unit, like a
Alpha Squad
or something like that. You know,
Alpha Squad.
Alpha Squad, is that the Canadian one?
That's the Canadian one.
Oh yeah. The kind of characters who will get killed in the start of a story to raise the stakes.
Oh, like in Suicide Squad,
forgotten existed. Those kind of ones, you know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But yeah, sorry. I also apologize. The Lighthouse was actually released in 2019, but time is very fluid.
Time does not matter. After 2019, It's still 2019. Still is, folks.
Yeah.
We're just kind of getting there, so don't worry. It's fine.
Yeah. Can I keep going with my random movie recommendations that I just happened to stumble across on Netflix and Amazon Prime?
Absolutely.
As I say, next time I'll have a banner of that written out. But have you seen Attack the Block?
I saw that when that movie came out. And
Really?
Yes, I saw it when it came out. My friend was obsessed with like London hip hop for some reason. So it was on his wheelhouse, and I really like stupid little movies like that where it's like, you know, kind of goofy but still fun. So it's this weird intersection where he's like, you know, I really like this movie for this reason, but you're really gonna love this movie for this reason. And I did, and like that's the thing with John Boyega. Like, it was his breakout movie, and he's never been good in anything else except for that. And I'm like, oh man, come on.
No, the Star Wars. I've said this before. The Star Wars films aren't.
Stop defending
fault,
Star Wars. Stop defending the Disney Star Wars.
I'm not. I'm defending him. To put it this way, if it was his fault, why would he be the only one of the mains who's resisting Disney Plus? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I think he feels as burned as anyone else, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But for anyone, again, I'm recommending things on Netflix that you can grab for like pretty easily.
No, but Attack the Block is a good, like, again, those comments aside, I think his career and movements after that have hurt him in a lot of ways. But I'd say if you're just looking for just a fun movie where he's actually really good in it and will win you over again, Attack the Block is super good. Like, it's weird, right? Because it's such a low stakes movie that becomes huge. It feels like what's that movie called? Hot Fuzz. It feels like Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
It has the same kind of like vibe to it. It's like, but instead of being like a small English town, it's in like London, like urban London, you know.
I think they're doing that on purpose though, because like, I mean, they have Nick Frost in it. They're definitely channeling they're the right vibes.
Yeah, they're fully aware of what's going on, and it is a lot of fun. Like, as I said, that's why another reason that kind of like really sucked with John Boyega's career, because it's just like, oh, you were so good, and then I don't know if it was like personal choices or like just bad roles that he didn't fit in. But this is just like a really, really good solo, because he's proper leading man energy off him as well. You know, this is great, and it's a really fun movie, and it zips along as well. There's no fat in it. It's like properly just, you know, I think it's 90 minutes. It's really like thin. But
yeah, actually, that was something I'm glad you brought up. It's for anyone who doesn't know what this film is about. It's basically a bunch of like kind of kids on like a kind of a council estate in the UK. They're going around kind of mugging people. This is also a breakout role for Jodie Whittaker.
I forgot she was in that.
She's one of the mains. Yeah, she's the one who's mugged in the start. Yeah.
True too.
You'd never now, as my fiance pointed out, you'd never recognize her because she's got that Alfred Molina quality where like you'll see her in 7 or 8 different things and never know it's her.
Yes. Yes. I totally forgot she was in that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it works against actors for being too good.
Yeah, anyway, to be too good at the acting.
Yeah, exactly. But like, anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But like, yeah, it's basically about these kids on this council estate, and literal aliens just land on Earth. Not like kind of Roland Emmerich ones, like asteroids hit the Earth, and these kind of, they're slightly naff on purpose looking aliens. They look like giant kind of carpet bears that just have
Doctor Who aliens, but with no budget.
Yeah, but like it sounds like it's trying to be corny, but it's actually incredibly effective. They both look rubbish enough to kind of be B-movie, but they're also scary enough that emotionally it works. And it's a wonderful little chamber piece film, which is just them running around. It doesn't go like Hot Fuzz for the big comedy swings. No, but it just has an atmosphere to it that's like very memorable, you know.
Like, as I said, it's less comedy. It's less like Hot Fuzz doesn't offer a leading man role. Like neither one of, I know, like I love, actually the older I get, the more I like Hot Fuzz, which is weird. I never thought I would get Hot Fuzz, and then the older I get, I'm like, oh, that's the best one, you know, because you think it's like Shaun of the Dead, and then you're just like, actually no.
I have that with The World's End. That one,
The World's End's very good.
Only making sense to me the older I get.
Yeah, The World's End's very good as well. But same actually. It racks up the older you get as well. But what I mean is, like, no one in the Cornetto trilogy is like a leading man.
Yes,
because it's too self-aware that it's like, okay, this is like Hot Fuzz could be, but they're like literally just ripping off the fact that what a leading man is. This one, it has more stakes because it's in a, as you said, it's in a council estate. It's very gritty. It's very urban in its setting. Like it's very bleak. It's very bleak, right? And then aliens appear. And you're like, okay, so we're moving. And I said, it starts off with a mugging, which is like, oh, wow, man, okay. So it doesn't have that. There's no kind of levity in it. The levity comes from just how mad it is, how mad the situation is. But then at the same time, you have the cast of kids, and they were kids at the time. I think they were like 16, 17. And they were just kind of like, right, pulling together. And then you get this great performance from the whole cast. And I remember that movie came out. People were like, John Biega's next big thing. He's great. And you watch the movie, you're like, yeah, totally. And you can see it. And it's just one of those movies like, it's a weird, it's like Scott Pilgrim in a sense, because Scott Pilgrim was made by Edgar Wright, but is a totally different kind of piece. It's
like, again, lightning in a bottle. Like maybe you'll probably never. I know there is an Attack the Block 2 that I haven't seen, but I'd say there's not going to be anything like that again. You know,
no. It's just the right place at the right time with the right cast telling that specific story. And same with Scott Pilgrim, it's the same kind of thing where like by just adjusting the stakes a little bit and making it still goofy, but like less so, you get a great performance from his name is gone.
The Michael Cena.
Michael Cena, exactly. Yeah. So like it's Michael Cera, is it? Whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Sarah, Michael Cera, yeah. So yeah, look, I'd say that's a solid recommendation. If you haven't seen Attack the Block or Scott Pilgrim, both are worth your time.
Yeah, or The Lighthouse, or I'd stand up for The Green Knight. I'm starting to lose friends over it.
No, man, I'm going to watch.
You got to stand by your convictions.
Look, I have a 4.5 hour flight over to Athens now on Sunday. I'm probably going to just watch the Green Knight over there. So
yeah. It's a good atmosphere film. I in a weird way, this sounds like a faint praise, but I would definitely stick it on in like the background of a party. It's a very hypnotic looking film.
You know what though? That sounds like The Fifth Element.
Yeah, I suppose that's a weird common ground the two would have. Yeah, well, it just makes Wicklow particularly look gorgeous, you know.
But I mean, as far as what you said, background, right? A friend of mine had the Fifth Element on in the background the other day, and it's the perfect background movie because you're like walking around, and you're like, man, that movie's mad, but you're also just like, it's not too. Doesn't pull you out too much, and if that's I don't think that's bad. I think there's some movies that is okay for. It's like when you watch an episode of a season of The Simpsons, you're like, yeah, stick it on in the background, it's fine, you know. It's fine in the background.
Like my metric was, I used to go, I think it was called the Sugar Club, this club that was on
still there. Yeah, still there,
is it? Yeah, and I used to go in there all the time because, you know, you're in college, you have to go somewhere. And they'd always have like a film on in the background, and I discovered Big Trouble in Little China in there. Like, you know, that'd be another perfect, like, it's a great film anyway, but it's a perfect like on in the background thing, because like it's on and you're having your drink, and then suddenly, not knowing what the film is, people just start lifting into the sky and like, oh.
Yeah, like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs or something like that. So they're movies that if you walked into, like, actually that's a very good analogy. Movies you walk into like not a dive bar, but a bar with notions, and you're like, yeah, cool, this is great. You know, like it's like when you're in Japanese restaurants or even bars, and they have Kuzawa movies on in the background.
Yes, loads of the ones in town have those on in the background, and you just like watch it and go,
yeah, that's
cool.
A
Star Wars shot. That's a Star Wars shot. That's a Star Wars
This
shot.
is where they got them all from. Yeah, but that's it. You know, I think like you kind of forget movies as because we consume movies as entertainment, right? First and foremost, and you forget that they're art. So you can appreciate them as art pieces because that's what they are, and we forget about it, you know. But speaking of which, really, really excited, dude. Tomorrow, today, if you're listening to this, so as you're listening to this, I'm in the cinema. I'm going to see The Batman.
Ooh, okay. So this, like, we unfortunately cannot review it this week, but we certainly will.
I can guess. I can be like, it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good.
But I suppose in a weird way, we have the luxury of, by the time this airs, we'll know how many of your speculations will be wrong. Which is an opportunity we cannot pass up. So what are your kind of pre-seeing it thoughts on The Batman?
Um, it's. I think it's going to be a very different movie to what we've seen before. I don't think it's going to share any commonality with any of the other ones.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it looks quite Christopher Nolan-y.
Yeah, but Christopher Nolan was too focused on being a police movie. I think this is going to, or being like a movie with Batman in it.
Mm.
Like, he's made no secret that he really like Gotham. I don't know. Have you ever read Gotham Central?
Gotham Central. No, I haven't read any Batman comics really, apart from The Long Halloween.
Well, see, oh man, okay, right. We need to fix that. Gotham Central is not a Batman book. It's a book with Batman in it, as in it follows the police, the Gotham City Police Department around, and Batman shows up. He's like, hey, and then he leaves, and that's kind of like literally he's in like 4 panels. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But that's what the Dark Knight and like a lot of the mechanics of the Christopher Nolan movies are. Not the first one. The first one does have Batman in a great deal because obviously, but the other two don't really have Batman in it really that much. And when he is, he's not really being Batman as such. He's just kind of there, particularly with the third one. But the Dark Knight is a great. It's one of the best transitions of the Batman being a detective, as in like, although when I imagine Batman being a detective, he's still in the suit. He just doesn't have the helmet on because he's not or the cowl on. He's still just there in the back cave doing whatever. And I think we're going to see more of that. I think we're going to see like Batman actually being Batman as far as being the world's greatest detective. We've only seen hints of it.
I don't know. I'm getting more of a Gotham vibe where like it's like looks like a kid really like out of his depth.
Yeah, but
like maybe when he's out of the suit at least, Yeah,
but he's still going to like, it's the Riddler, so he still has to actually figure stuff out and be a detective. That's okay.
The whole point. I definitely have heard some comparisons between this to Zodiac.
Yeah, and that's what I'd imagine we're going to see. Like, again, he's supposed to have 26 master's degrees. He's supposed to be a genius. He's supposed to have all this kind of stuff, and we've never actually really seen that. I think Michael Keaton is my favorite Batman live action in a lot of ways because he does kind of have that dynamic, and you see him on the back computer a lot, and it's pretty cool. But I think Gotham is a good call. I think it's a couple of years after Gotham, narratively. Obviously not connected, but like in vibe and tone. But because it's the Riddler, he has no choice but to be a detective. He can't.
Yeah.
He can't punch the Riddler. Well, I mean, he can, but he has to find him first. But you can't just punch him. That won't do anything. He has to actually outthink him and outmaneuver him. So we're probably going to see a lot of that. One thing again, and another touch, and this is a strange touch, but go with me here. You see him taking off the mask, and he's wearing all the eye makeup.
Yeah, which I'm glad they did.
Which I'm glad they did too.
Kick-Ass 1 is the only movie that has acknowledged that you have to put on makeup to do that.
Yeah, and it's like because they've done that, it means like, right, he didn't have time to go and wipe it off. Look, as somebody who wears it on stage, that stuff is not. It's not metal to put it on, and it's not metal to take it off. It's a pain. But I mean, by acknowledging that, it means like he's busy. He hasn't got time to do it. He can't look cool. He is busy. So I think that's pretty cool. It like humanizes him a lot to an extent where it's just like, right, I have to take off this and quickly change or whatever. That's cool. And while seeing that, it's just like, right, he really isn't there yet. He isn't the Batman. He's becoming it. I think this is like year 2. He's been Batman for like a year and a bit.
I've checked. Yeah, it's Batman's been around for about 2 years, I think.
Yeah, and that's kind of that narratively makes sense.
Probably kind of around us, like just under 100 subscribers. Still kind of not quite.
He's known, but he's not like infamous just yet. And I think like the trailer that I saw was pretty cool, where it's like the delivery of like I am vengeance, I am the night is a bit naff in the trailer, but
look, you have to put those things in the trailer or they won't turn up,
you do, yeah. But I mean, like it's never really been said before in live action. It's only ever been said by Kevin Conroy, so I'm going to try. My hope is that it's going to be very different. My hope is that it's not retreading stuff we've seen before, and I think it is going to be a different take on it. But as far as some predictions, so first foremost, I think obviously it's going to be a sequel. They're going to settle for a sequel. They have announced it. They I read today that they are going to, I don't think it's on Geek Ireland, but they did announce today that they're going to do an Arkham an Arkham spin-off.
Oh, like a TV show.
A TV show, yeah.
Yes, I saw that on the wiki even before the announcement. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So that makes sense. And so they're going to set up for some kind of sequel.
Yeah.
The Penguin's no one's going to die because Batman doesn't kill anybody.
Oh, I'm most excited for Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I've been saying this to my friends. I feel like he's in a bracket of like actors, like the main guy from the US office, where people keep forgetting how genuinely great he is.
Yeah.
And I would include Paul Dano in that too. Like actors who are always brilliant and no one seems to notice. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Like, and that's another kind of thing. Like, it's going to be a lot of setup because any other Batman movie we've had, that was one of the great things about The Dark Knight. And even Batman, like appearing in Superman, I don't want to see a Batman origin story ever again.
Yeah.
I never want to. I don't want to see Batman Year One. I want to see him just being Batman, just doing Batman things,
Yeah, because like I had such a whiplash effect off the Batman versus Superman, which came out before we were doing this show. But like it opened and they were already kind of carrying the coffin into the tomb, and I was like, yes, we skipped it. I know this. Great. I know this. And then they start rewinding to it's like, oh God, no sweet. This.
Yeah, like
I mean, I feel bad for you, but it's been 30 years of this,
Like you don't need it. Like it's one of the great things about the new Spider-Man movies, where they didn't tell you about Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
they didn't show it. We know what happened. It's so cool.
I'm actually, if they actually do, I doubt they're going to do it, but like if they actually do the alley thing, and not in like a new way, I'm just going to start shouting at the cinema. We know.
No, here's the thing. The way the alley was done in the game in Arkham City was very good. Where it's never addressed, but the alley's there and you can go down to it and you can leave a rose down or something.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought up video games because the big thing this is reminding me of. Did you ever play the Telltale Batman games?
I didn't, but I heard nothing but good things.
I would highly recommend it. If nothing else, look up on YouTube a playthrough of Series 2, Chapter 1, because that's the Riddler one. Right. And it's got the stank of all this stuff off it where he's like a hardened criminal and like there's puzzles all over the place and lives are on the line and you actually have to do detective work to figure out how to beat him and that kind of stuff,
That's one thing that I'm really looking forward to because again, we've never actually seen that properly. Like Batman's thing isn't that he punches people. He can. He's really good at it. But that's not why he's in the Justice League. He's in the Justice League because he's a genius. And he's Batman,
completely. And I'm glad you brought that up, actually.
That's why he's the leader of the Justice League. Like, I know people say Superman is. Superman isn't. Batman is. Like, it just is. Like, read Tower of Babel. And it's like, he has... By the way, if you haven't read Tower of Babel or Rock of Ages, really do. They're brilliant. The best runs of the Justice League ever, right? But the main thing is you're like, Batman is the leader of... to such an extent, and he's such a genius that he has a way to kill every member of the Justice League, just in case they get out of line. Just in case.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, but then what happens is someone hacks his computer and they end up having to undo it, and it's kind of the end of the Justice League. But this is the kind of guy Batman is. Like, he knows he can't punch Superman to death. Well, I mean, he can, but there's a lot of setup. But so he does all that setup. He's like, right, what will kill him? Well, if I fire this gas into him and then, have these Kryptonian things, I'll be able to do it. And it's brilliant. And we've never seen that localized. We've seen it to some extent in Batman versus Superman where, he built the suit and did that. But we've never seen it like localized. Why are criminals afraid of him? Well, one, when he catches you, he's going to kill you. He's going to beat you to a bloody pulp. But no matter what you do, he knows you're there, because he's super focused and super, like, just really, really amazing. Like, Batman is like one of the coolest characters ever, and everybody has a different take on it. But like, for me, I always admire like the more kind of like nuanced approach to superheroes, because Batman isn't a superhero; he's just a dude who does loads of push-ups.
Oh yeah, sure. He was in Detective Comics for a reason. Yeah, and I think you've hit on something there about kind of his kind of influence there, because like do you know the term soft power, where like kind of the implicit threat of action is actually the biggest deterrent? Like, the best bit in The Dark Knight for that is there's a bit where, like, I don't know, there's two people in a car and something shady's go down, and you just see the signal going up, and one of them says, "Nah, not tonight." And the other says, "You have more chance of winning the lotto than actually being caught by him."
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. He's already won. Do you know what I mean? That's the most powerful thing about Batman. And Superman is never going to stop you, like, you know, causing hassle on a Lewis or a Sentra, you know? But Batman might.
Because it's too big.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Superman hits you, you're probably just going to combust. You know, like Batman hits it, you're probably going to hospital for a while, but you'll live. You know?
Yeah, you'll walk it off, unfortunately.
Well, you might. I don't know. Depends how hard he hits it. But you know, and that's kind of it. Like, we've never seen that element, and I think that's one thing that we are going to see. We're going to see this localized, street level Batman who deals with these psychopaths. Who are like, okay, well, you're in a costume and this. I'm going to come out and challenge you because that's what happens. Because that's one thing as well that's never brought up, really. They mentioned it a little bit in The Dark Knight, and in Batman Begins, but they never really kind of go into it. By a superhero appearing, or that's the term I'm going to use. I know Batman is a superhero, right? But that's the term I'm going to use. By him appearing and doing things, he fundamentally changed the approach of being a criminal. The criminals have to get more dramatic, or the psychopaths have to get more weird. And that's what they're going to tap into with the Riddler. He's like, oh, okay, well, I can do this thing as well.
Well, that's kind of what the Joker was in The Dark Knight. They keep using the term escalation, you know?
Yeah, and but again, it was too big. The Joker went from like being the small to huge. Like, this is going to be very, very small, like very localized. And I do think that's going to happen. The Riddler, he can do a lot, but he's also just, you know, he's not trying to blow up a city. He's just trying to mess with people and mess with Batman to prove how smart he is. That's Edward Nygma's thing, you know. So that's what we're probably going to see, and then we will probably see some action set pieces with we've in the trailer kind of ruined it with Penguin and Catwoman, and obviously they're just there. They won't be the main cast. They'll just kind of be there because Penguin is just kind of there, just doing business. And we will probably see some crossover set up for sequels. So they're my predictions. I could be totally wrong, but I think we're going to see something a bit more localized. Because think about it, dude. We have another Batman coming out. With actually two Batman.
Do we?
Yeah, two Batman are going to be in the Flash.
So I mean, I keep hearing whispers of all these Batmen coming back, but until I see a trailer, I've been stung by DC too many times with announcements that never follow through. So until I see a trailer, it ain't happening.
No, this is there was a little bit of a trailer. Michael Keaton is coming back as the linchpin of DCEU.
Yeah, and
apparently Ben Affleck is coming back as well as Batman.
That is a big surprise.
Well, not really. Like, he's not coming back. He's just coming back to finish that story.
No, I would have thought on principle he wouldn't come back, you know, and I'd be completely understandable if he didn't.
Yeah, but you offer him enough money, you're going to be like, put the suit on for an hour? All right. How much? Deadly. You know? You're not going to turn down money, man. Come on. Like, you're not going to do it.
All right. But yeah, since we're talking predictions, there's one prediction I have a feeling will come out that no one's made yet. And because of the time period, they seem to be making a big thing about this Batman film being in the 90s, aren't they? Or
yeah.
Possibly to put it in Ben Affleck's continuity, even though no one really cares at this point.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if not the next Batman film, then the one after, they're probably going to try and find some way to cross it over with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, because they made a stink about that film being in the 70s.
Yeah. No,
so he could be around for 20 years and then have the two cross paths or something like that, you know?
Or have someone inspired by the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Or possibly. I mean, like, kind of, I'm sure they're already retconning the Jared Leto Joker to be like a second descendant. Like,
yeah, and the thing about it as well, like that another thing as well that's really important to remember is also that Flashpoint is coming up.
Yes.
And like we've seen with Marvel have kind of shown you how to do this. You can just softly just hit these and do a recon, comic books literally invented they literally invented the concept of this, where you can just softly just hit the reboot or softly just change.
Well, DC does it more than Marvel now. Marvel, I think, it has a better handle on continuity, both as a strength and to its detriment.
But we've talked about this before, man. This is the thing about the comics. Like DC is always rebooted itself. That's how we ended up with the multiverse in DC.
Oh, completely. Right? But I think DC is more gods and symbols, and like the idea of Batman would be more important to Batman than the continuity of Spider-Man living in this place, having taught in this place for 5 years, like the stink, including yours truly, over when Mary Jane was like retconned out. Yeah. Like, you know, because that matters to Marvel, but it wouldn't matter to DC, you know.
For sure. Exactly. Really quick. So yeah, next week we'll do a proper review of it. I'm looking forward to it, but I am conscious of the time. Really, before, like, so we have a couple of things to talk about as far as cons that are coming up. But before that, John Romero, you know who John Romero is?
Remind me.
So John Romero made Doom, and he made many games.
Right, gotcha.
Founded Ion Storm, where he made Deus Ex and stuff like that.
He didn't direct zombie films, did he, or something?
No. You're thinking of John.
No, I'm thinking of George Romero.
Romero, yeah. John Romero is the game developer,
right?
And he actually. I saw this the other day because I am friends with John Romero's wife, believe it or not, which is hilarious. And because they live in Galway,
right? Okay,
and they are lovely people. That's where Romero Studios is. They're in Galway. So anytime they pop up, they're usually at Comic-Con. Haven't seen them in a while. But randomly, the other day, I got an email from Romero Studios, and John Romero had actually released a new Doom 2 level. So Doom 2 was made like 1994 or something like that. It was a long time ago. And obviously Doom is Doom, right? It's a huge thing. It literally invented the FPS genre. But randomly just dropped the level for a new level for Doom 2 to raise money for the Ukraine. So if you're a fan of Doom and you haven't heard about this for some reason, again, Geek Ireland reporting, John Romero releases new Doom 2 level to raise money for Ukraine. But yeah, man, like, I haven't played it yet. I haven't got a chance to pick it up, but I will, because I'm a huge Doom fan. So I'm excited to play that because I love Doom. I really do. Actually, I downloaded a bunch of Doom games yesterday for my PS5. So which one of which was Doom 2, because I haven't actually played Doom 2 in a while. But I wanted to mention that real quick because I just thought it was so random and weird at the same amount of time. So yeah, check that out. Thanks to Geek Ireland for passing that along, and Romero Studios for the email. So Keen, real quick, there's two things that you want to talk about: Picard and Around the World 80 Days.
I think I'll park Picard for this week, but since I remember giving you flack over reality shows, I want to talk about my secret shame, which is The Apprentice on BBC. Have you ever watched it? Shame
that I haven't, no, but I love shows like this. I really do.
It's back and it's so good. It's just the most. I mean, it's not as bad as like those kind of American reality TV shows where they're all just shouting at each other all the time. But there's just something so wonderfully petty about The English Apprentice compared to the American one, which I've never really taken to. The English one, it's just every week it's the same. It's these 16 business twits who all think they're the best things in sliced bread. And they're all making these bad decisions in the leading role. And the rest of them kind of step back and nod and go, yeah, that seems legit. And then talking to the camera, he's made a huge mistake. And then you spend 45 minutes trying to bet on which of the two teams will win because the edit is working against you. It's making it look like there's an obvious loser. And then they turn it around and they win. And you feel like an idiot. And then they all get petty with each other on the board. It's so nasty and vindictive when I describe it like this, but there's something so captivating about it. It's the first time ever that my 2-year-old daughter had to stop me yelling at the TV by saying, "Dada, calm down." I've never screamed at an episode of Doctor Who in my life, but there's something about The Apprentice that just gets under my skin. It's like car crash TV, and it's wonderful. Oh, it's so well put together.
This is why
it's so captivating.
This is why I love Undercover Boss. Undercover Boss does that.
Yes,
that
we
for
did
me
talk
too.
about that before.
Yeah, Undercover Boss does that for me as well. I totally get where you're coming from. It's this cathartic feeling where you're like, come on, what are you doing? This is great.
exactly. Like for comparison, my fiance loves the Great British Bake Off,
Right.
which is so wholesome, and they're all so nice, and you feel so bad when one of them has to go home, but they're all really supportive. Then there's The Apprentice at the other side of the table, where they all hate each other, and when it narrows down to 3, you kind of go, "I'll send them all home."
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Exactly.
Maybe none of them will win this year. I'm fine with that, you know.
Yeah, no, I'll have to give it a watch. All right, The Apprentice. I watched the first couple episodes of the American one when it came out, like 15, 20 years ago. So yeah,
The American, well, first of all, it's poisoned by association with its lead.
Yeah,
But,
well, that's the thing. You're just not going to be able to watch.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to watch it cold again, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I remember when that came out, and everybody loved it and thought it was hilarious. And then that's why he was on the WWE WrestleMania, because of The Apprentice and Conan O'Brien and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. But no, I haven't watched the English one yet.
No.
But I might.
The English one is much better though, because they've tweaked it so that instead of someone getting a job at the end, what they do is they present a business plan in the last 2 episodes.
Right.
And when they're brought into the boardroom, they look at their submitted business plan, and they kind of go, well, hang on, your business plan is all about running a bakery. So you've just messed up this baking task. What am I supposed to do with this? So there's this kind of running thing of they have a very specific skill set.
Yeah.
And if they don't measure up in the process to that skill set, they're kind of like, well, what's the deal with you?
Interesting.
So it's kind of, it's a cleverer show than the American one, which just exists to make you feel bad. This one, I'm not going to say it is trashy entertainment, but it's very well put together, and there is strategy to it. It's not just watching someone make a mistake and horribly fail and we laugh at them type television.
There's one thing here, and viewers will see this here on the screen. Around the World in 80 Days. I didn't even know this was a thing.
No one did, except me, which is why I want to talk about it before we wrap.
When you brought it up, I was like, what was it? And then David Tennant, I'm like, why is David Tennant looking really weird in this? Because I just watched Jessica Jones again. And so obviously a lot of David Tennant. But quickly, what's the story with this? I can guess what this is. I'm assuming it's based on the novel, but
loosely. They've changed it up a bit. So this is a wonderful BBC show that apparently no one saw.
No,
it had a lot of money thrown at it. The music's by Hans Zimmer. Well,
look, the costume. I don't know if you've ever been involved in costume from this time period. That's not a small undertaking. When I was on Penny Dreadful, millions of dollars. So yeah, obviously there was money behind it, but I don't think anyone. I think the failing was with the advertising. Nothing else.
Yeah, well, I assumed it was a little how BBC have these Agatha Christie things over 3 days over Christmas. I didn't know it was going to be a full 10-week thing. But yeah, it's amazing. It's basically a sort of reimagining of Around the World in 80 Days, and which is a potentially problematic story.
Yes.
But it's great because it's just the usual story. The main character, played by David Tennant, makes a bet, has to get around the world in 80 days. That's your starting point. But every week they spend in a different country with and they meet this cast of characters who have their own story, and it's gorgeous.
So hold on a second.
Yeah.
So it's Doctor Who.
It does have it has a 1960s Doctor Who feel to it.
Oh, it's Doctor Who.
Actually learning stuff about places.
No wonder you like it.
But it's more than that though, because the 3 main characters are I love the Jodie Whittaker era, but they're much better.
So there's the Doctor,
the Jodie Whittaker companions. Yeah,
the companion.
I'm not ashamed of that.
It's just Doctor. No wonder you like it. They just made Doctor Who.
Yeah, but they made it well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's honestly it's great because they haven't just adapted the book straight. They've made the French Passepartout character much more dynamic. And they've got a female kind of writer character called Abigail, which I suspect is based on a real person, because I recently learned that a female journalist read Around the World in 80 Days, took on the 80-day challenge in the 1920s, managed it, and got a letter from the actual Jules Verne. So is it Verne who wrote it? Yeah, Verne. Yeah,
Verne wrote it. Yeah.
So it's got this lovely kind of modern feel to it, where it's the characters are all great. but you've got something completely. I mean, the Doctor Who thing again. You're in a random new location. So one episode is like a Western because you're in America. One episode is all about kind of, stuck on a train in Italy. Like there's a French Revolution episode. Like it's properly like every episode is dizzying because you don't know where you're going next. It's just great fun.
You've actually sold me on it. And the fact that it is just like David Tennant, Doctor Who under called something else. I can go along with that. I like the outer outer limits of the outer world or whatever it's called. Basically as Fallout, but that's our time. We've hit time for this week. Again, next week we're gonna dig more into Comic-Con. There is a security conference as well, which is on not this weekend but the weekend after, which I'll talk about next week. Keen, is there anything you want to plug before we get out of there? Because we I'm going to go to both, so we'll be digging into those.
Can I just check, is our time okay though? Because we did have to do a little restart.
We got time.
It's all good. Yeah,
we got time for a plug. Yeah.
Okay, all right. No. That's pretty much all my plugs. Apart from to say that I will certainly be at Comic-Con next week. So if you see some like kind of bad back stormtroopers carrying around a protesting 2-year-old, it's probably me. I'll be one of them. So come up and say hello if you're a fan of the show. We love meeting people who listen to it,
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to do my best to go as well. Probably be there on a Saturday or Sunday. I'm not too sure just yet. But we will let you know. Obviously, next week we're going to dig into that more. And then, because again, we intend to do some panels next time for summer or be there in a more full capacity.
A friend of the show, Lisa, she has a panel, the Straight Outta Canto one.
Yeah, we just totally kind of it all happened really fast and we kind of forgot about it. So we're gonna get more on touch that as well going forward. But again, guys, thank you so much for checking us out. If this is your first show, please go over to nerdtoknowmedia.com. Like the show, subscribe, follow us on social media, like the YouTube channel. And again, we'll be here next week, every single week here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, and of course on Twitch and YouTube. So guys, thank you very, very much. We will be back next week. So until then, goodbye, guys.
Bye-bye.
She says I'm not romantic. I say she's too dramatic.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.